one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You'd remain standing for a moment. Pastor Crothers will give our invocation.
Let us pray. Gracious Father, we come before you on this beautiful, lovely evening, and Lord, all of us are so hoping that maybe spring really is right nearby, that we could be able then to get out and enjoy the weather and all the other lovely things that come with a great Michigan spring. And Lord, now we come, though, in the business of the city, and we would just pray and ask for your blessings of wisdom and insight and protection over this city and in the business they're about to conduct, for the police, for the fire, for the city workers, and for all the citizens. Just look after them, care for them, and protect them. Thank you for your mercies. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor.
I'm very happy.
I see that.
The clerk take the roll, please.
Councilman Templin.
Present.
Councilman Cisco.
Present.
Councilman DiGiulio.
Here.
Councilwoman Gavarecki.
Present.
Councilman Rourke.
Here.
Madam Pro Tem McLeod.
Here.
Treasurer Armstrong.
Present.
And Mayor Mategas.
Present.
We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. Motion for approval of tonight's agenda.
Motion.
April 10th. Motion by Councilman
Supported.
Cisco, supported by Councilman DiGiulio. Are there any additions, deletions, changes?
Let's separate claims and accounts there real quick, okay, Mayor?
Without objections, claims and accounts will become a separate item, not under the other consent items. Any other changes to be made? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. Thank you. A motion to approve the minutes for March 27th.
Motion.
Councilman Templin moved. Councilman Rourke has supported. Is there any changes, corrections, additions, deletions? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. Thank you. We're at organizational business of the city administrator.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, residents, students, young students as well. We got some new students here, it looks. I know the burning question of the night is the outcome of last Monday's basketball game, which my hair was on the line. And as we all know, my Michigan Wolverines lost to Mr. Cady's Villanova Wildcats. Wildcats? Thank you. Who cares? It don't matter. We'll forget about a couple of years. So he's an alum there. I'm an alum of Michigan, but he keeps his hair. And unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of hair. So I looked online to see lots of love. Apparently, you have to have quite a bit of hair to donate to there. So that wasn't going to work. So instead, I wrote a small donation to the APCCF in honor of the victory for Mr. Cady for some of their projects. So I figured that was the best way to go, as opposed to my hair was not going to go anywhere. When they collect like a little quarter size, apparently they can't do much with that. So this way, the kids will be able to have a new park project or something for that. So we'll go on here. Update on the city projects here. Street improvement millage projects. The contractor, which is GV Cement, they started yesterday over in Colonial Court. They have half the road torn out right now, and they're installing the edge drain and the storm sewer on that project. CDB street sectioning, those the areas were marked yesterday and again this morning. I met Steve out there. I talked to a couple of nice residents. They asked a couple questions, and actually we were able to address a couple of their concerns as well in that area. So GV is the contractor for that project, and they're going to be starting that tomorrow. The area that they're going to focus on at this point in time is Ford Line, Michigan, Kennebec, LeBlanc, and just really focusing getting that area. I think there's a section of Vine we're going to be working on as well. There's a old section that kind of looked like it had been suffering with that ASR. So I think we're going to be pretty close to getting that area in really top-notch condition. There's still a few more small areas, but we'll see how funding goes with the CDBG funding this year and go from that point. And then we still have 18 money coming available here in July 1st, so we may be able to go and get up into that Roger and Lawrence section of north of Southfield Road here later in the year. Street section, the utility repairs, that contractor is Savone Cement. Those areas have been marked as well, and they did those last week, and they'll be getting started on that project starting Monday of next week. Again, Savo and Cement, they have both street sectioning and the utility repairs for us. The water main replacement project, Marquise Avenue, Fox Avenue to Rosedale Avenue, and Thomas Rosedale to the city limit with Lincoln Park has been completed, except for the concrete replacement and the restoration. So they'll be finishing that up here in the next few weeks. The contractor for that, again, is Brico Excavating. They've done an excellent job for us. They're working on the tie-ins and the services over on McLean Avenue. That's Allen Road to Park Avenue, which was also part of the street improvement millage work. And they're also working on College Avenue. That's over at Lawrence Avenue from the city limit, from Lawrence Avenue to the city limit with Lincoln Park. And they'll be working again on the tie-ins and the services in that neighborhood, in both those neighborhoods. More great news when it comes to construction. Posted this up on Facebook, and people love when you tell them about construction that's going to affect them. And this one's going to affect all of us. Pelham Road going to be resurfaced from Wick Road to Allen Road, and that's going to start Monday, April 23rd. And they're going to be finishing sometime around the end of June, is what we've been told by Wayne County through Matt Doring. 2.5 months of 2.25 months of construction over there on Pelham Road as well. The library, they're back open. They're ready to accept all the readers that want to come in and look at the books, and then you'll be able to see the books a lot better because they got their new LED lighting in. And we called over there. Apparently, it is very, very bright in there, so shouldn't have any problem finding those hidden gems down on the lower shelf of the racks there. We had at the department head meeting, or staff meeting, Mr. Stites from the Festivities Committee was in, and he announced that the 2018 Street Fair will be taking place August 3rd and 4th, Friday, August 3rd, Saturday, August 4th. The entertainment is going to be Phoenix Theory on Friday night and 50 Amp Fuse on Saturday night, so some pretty good entertainment there. And it's just nice to be thinking about summertime at this point in time. Good to see hopefully the weather will start changing there as well. New police officers Christopher Alnaldi and Jordan Cunning, they've successfully completed the FTO, the Field Training Officer Program, and they are now in the regular assignment for the Road Patrol Division. So they are back in, they're not out with anybody, and they're out free to go. So please be on the lookout for them. They are on the lookout for you, and unfortunately, come and meet them in the station. They're really nice young men, but don't meet them out on the road. Some good news. This one here is the one I think council's been asking for a little bit over the course of the last couple of years, and Chief was able to make this finally happen. The police department has again assigned a police officer to the Downriver Area Narcotics Office. That's the Drano program. So we have an officer in Drano, we have an officer in Chiefs, and so we're kind of trying to step back to where we were able to get the officers into those programs and participate with the rest of the Downriver communities in those the Drano program is again. Parks and Recreation Department, they are now accepting credit cards, and we're going to, talking to Pat Hawkins and the staff, they feel like they're going to really see a difference in the concession area. These credit cards can be used with no fees. So not only can they be used in the concession, but they can also be used to pay for the programs. As you're signing up for anything, you'll be able to go through use your credit card on that. We've noticed over the course of time in other locations that when you have the ATM available, you see there is correlation. So with the credit card now, and everybody's got their debit card, and nobody carries cash anymore, it seems. This should help out with the concession sales quite a bit more. For the City Hall project, the masons are installing the precast stone on the exterior of the building. Those are the wing walls and the window surrounds at this point in time. They're pretty close. The window surrounds on the City Hall side have all been completed, as well as the brickwork on that side. And they're working on the window surrounds on the police department side, and those in the wing walls, the walls coming out that you see. Those are precast concrete. And they're they kind of go in like a Lego block, I guess, because they kind of sit on each other with a pin. I think once the contractor got the base set, he's been able to make some quick progress now. Brick, again, has been done on the City Hall side. They're working on the police department side now. The drywall crews, they are hanging drywall in whatever areas they have left, which when we were in there yesterday, and I was in there Friday to Monday, it changed drastically because they've been working all weekend. they have they're working on the drywall in the lobby for the city hall and in the two-story lobby that you see from Southfield Road. They were hanging the drywall in there yesterday. Then following right behind them is the mutters and the tapers, and they're just going through every wall in the building. They'll be getting here within the next week or so. Ceiling grid was going up in the police department side, as well as the light fixtures, heating and cooling vents, air diffusers, and the sprinkler heads for the fire suppression system. They have to drop those into place. The glass walls for the individual offices on the city hall side have been installed. They've also been able to cut some of the ceiling tiles. That's kind of a messy job, but they've been able to get those around the edges, and then they just have to go in and drop in the 2x2 square ceiling tiles with the insulation above it. That doesn't take very long, but the time consuming is cutting the tiles. And then they're working on the secured parking for the police area with the concrete, and they did finish the floors on the Sally Port. If you have a chance, we do have pictures. I just posted 24 pictures last night on the Facebook page. You'll be able to see all that progress in there. We have a meeting with Corrigan moving on Friday, and the scheduled move dates are Friday, April 27th through Monday, April 30th. City Hall will definitely be closed those 2 days. I'm going to put in here just possibly we may need to be closed on Tuesday as well. We'll see how that goes. I don't want to tell you we're going to be open at 8:30, and we're not. We'll let you know at the next meeting where we're at on that schedule. But it is getting to be crunch time. I think at lunch the number of 17 kept coming up. 17 days to move. So it's hard to believe that we're at this point. If I didn't lose my hair over the basketball game, I lost my hair over this. It's getting a little stressful, but we got a great group of people here. I mentioned numerous times, Treasurer Armstrong has done a ton of work upstairs to get the storage area help cleaned up, and we still have quite a bit to go through, but every department has been up there working to go through their stuff and make sure that we don't move anything that's unnecessary, which we've done in the past, and we want to make sure we don't do that again. Space is very limited for storage, so we want to make sure that we take only what we need and what we legally have to take. So. And then the last item I had here was the budget work session. I did pass out the budget to the mayor and council tonight, and we'll I think we have it scheduled for next Tuesday at 6 o'clock for a study session to go over the budget. I know I've heard a couple people may not be able to make it. If you want to send over those questions that you may have, we'll get those answered and sent back to you as well. Okay, I've talked enough.
Motion to
Motion.
accept and
Support.
file. Councilman Cisco has moved, Councilman DiGiulio has seconded. Any questions of the city administrator?
None on this sheet, but maybe you might want to mention the issue regarding Comcast being out.
I'm gonna have to yield on that one. I've been focused on some other
You
projects, so
focus
I
on
was
something
not
else? Okay.
aware of it.
Well, I don't know, I'll just briefly say. The police chief prior to our work session tonight indicated that Comcast was out in the entire city due to a line or a pole snap, so just FYI. You got all your TVs going at home like I do, and I can't shut them off, so.
One real quick thing there, Mayor.
Councilman DiGiulio.
Will there be any of the stuff from this city hall that's going to be sold or discarded?
We're gonna have, it looks like we're gonna have quite a bit of excess furniture items. I'm looking just in this room alone, I know there's a bookshelf that's gonna definitely hasn't been grabbed by anybody at this point in time. So, yeah, we're gonna have some issues or some materials left over. I think the plan at this point in time is to put it at the ice arena. There's an area that we're actually using for some storage right now. That material is going to go into the building. It's a storage unit, and then we'll have that space, and we'll be able to go from that point of what we're going to do to dispose of it.
So do we plan to sell some of it then, or dispose of it in that way? Are we getting rid of this podium here?
Looks like an antique needs to come with us.
I mean, I'm interested in buying it.
It may be available. We're working on a new one for the new city.
I might hold some church services, a barber shop, so I mean,
I did have one.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I'm wondering, in conjunction with Mr. Kibbe's report. I know we get reports from the different departments, and I was very elated to read about the addition to Drano. I'm wondering if we might perhaps have the police chief just come up and say a few words on how that was achieved, because I read his memo and I was very impressed by it. Thank you.
As he's walking up, I just want to mention as well, out in the lobby is the new park bench that was acquired through the bottle cap process. I know Nancy Nick is here. She's been spearheading that project for us through the Recreation Department. And that is the APCCF was involved in this one, I believe. So very nice, very heavy, and I think they're a nice addition to the community.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So what happened with Drano is every month we have a meeting of the downriver area chiefs, 17 communities here that comprise the DMA area. And, you know, over the last few years, not only has the city of Allen Park lost manpower due to budget constraints, but all the other cities that normally were putting people in these task force concepts also had to recall their officers for street level patrol duties. And it was actually getting to the point where there was some consideration about disbanding the Drano unit entirely. So they kind of made a last ditch effort to us to see if we could please help them out and get somebody assigned to the task force. So I came back, and my biggest constraint was manpower here at the police department and the union contract with the Police Officers Association. So I sat down with the leaders from the Police Officers Association, and we talked about some minor changes that we could make that would free up an individual to be assigned for that. And they were very gracious, and you know, they recognized the importance of having somebody on this task force, because it's a task force that's run by MSP, and basically you send a patrol officer out there, and they're out there for either 2 or 3 years. But the experience that they get out there, especially in running investigations and detective work, when you send a regular patrol officer out there, you get back a well-trained detective at the end of it. So there's not only that return that you get on your investment, but having the Drano crews staffed properly allows for not only the use for street level narcotics enforcement, but they'll also take on any tasks that we need help with. So on occasion, throughout the years, you know, we've had home invasion crews that suddenly will pop up and we'll have a rash of home invasions. If we develop a suspect and it requires 24-hour surveillance or something of that nature, they've been more than willing to come into the communities and assist with their undercover surveillance operations. So it really is an important task force for us to be involved in. I'm pleased that we were able to work it out and get somebody assigned out there. I think we've probably been absent from the task force for at least the last 6 years. So it's good to be back out there again. Any questions? All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the city administrator? I have a couple. 6 p.m. next Tuesday. Where are we holding that?
We'll be upstairs.
Okay. We can use the screen at the end?
Yes.
Does Bob have
If he has
great
any
pictures,
pictures,
humorous
yeah.
pictures? You know, yeah. Okay. We can always move down here, I guess, if we have a lot of citizens that come out for that hearing. There will be a public hearing on the 24th.
Correct.
So at the regular meeting, we will have a public hearing on the budget where you can be heard. And is the budget going to go online as proposed?
Yeah, we'll be posting that up on the web tomorrow.
It is pretty extensive, but if you're interested, it is there, and it's close to 100 pages, so.
It'll also be in the clerk's office and at the library on display.
So, okay.
So to just add to what the Finance Director just said, it'll be at the clerk's office, available at the clerk's office for review, as well as this Allen Park Public Library.
The other thing on the new building, the roof and then the 2 large HVAC systems. Where do we stand and how do we?
For the old ones that they were still using? Yeah, Dave, did they take those off? Those are coming off next week. So the plan is to take the old units off. They were still using the old units instead of using the new ones and avoiding any dust, I guess, was what they were worried about getting into the system and throughout the system. Then they'll go back in and they will take those out and remove any of the curbing that's included with those, and then lay the roof down in that area again and match it all up. They've had the roof representative from the roofing company, the material roof we're using, he's been on site, and he'll be on site for that day as well.
So they've put up that new roofing material in the other sections where the HVAC systems aren't?
Correct.
Those are done?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. It's really, I was concerned that we were sitting and we were gonna try and do it all at one time,
No.
and it's a huge job. Because I think it's a great
They'll
roofing system.
go back in and patch this in, and then it'll still be under warranty because of with the representative being there, he'll be able to warranty it.
And then so they're gonna take out the old systems next week. Will the new systems be in where all you people at those 4:30 meetings be freezing?
We should be fine. I'm hoping it's gonna be good weather. We need some really good weather, so Pastor Crothers left me, should ask him for some intervention with the above, but we need some good weather there. But the roofing is on there. The units, once they get them on there, they'll be able to transfer those over. But as they were going through and doing all the mudding and taping and the sanding, surprisingly, as much drywall is over there, when we wear black, I think we seem to attract it to our clothes no matter what. But surprisingly, it is not as dusty as I would have thought. Apparently, these guys are professionals and they don't cake on the mud and then have to sand it all off. Apparently, that's the only thing I do. But they've done a really nice job of keeping it in there. But the main goal was to keep those systems clear of any debris, so that you wouldn't have any issue with the warranty on the equipment either.
All right. Any other questions of the city administrator? Seeing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. Thank you. We're at the public comment section. I would ask you to look on the back of your agenda for the rules of decorum and hope that you would use them as you address the council with either comments or questions. So at this point, any citizens that want to come forward?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Nancy Mick on Cleveland Avenue. And I asked Emily to come here tonight. This is Emily Rosman. She's a middle school, 8th grade. And it has to do with the benches. So for her silver award for Girl Scouts, she herself went out and collected 400 caps, plastic caps. In fact, she was collecting them here from the City Hall. And she stored them in her dad's garage, who I'm sure is glad to get his garage back now. And she even came up with an invention on, I'm not sure exactly how it all worked, but she had it in the garage so she could sort them a little faster, and then they went into the leaf bags. And I'd also like to thank her mother, Elizabeth. She drove with their 15-passenger van. She drove all our caps down, and we went down to Indiana, 7 hours one way and 7 hours back. And then we went to the processing plant, and we brought our 3 benches back. We did bring back another bench for another school in Romeo, and they did pay for our travels back and forth for our gas, so that was nice. They had waited 2 years for somebody to get their bench. So when they heard about us, they called us, contacted us, and to give us a gas card, so that was nice. So I just wanted you to meet Emily, and she's getting her silver award in her Girl Scouts.
And again, one of those benches are outside the council chambers, and you should take a look at it on your way out if you didn't see it on the way in. So, they're very nice. Are there any other citizens who wish to come forward?
Good evening. Bob Lloyd, Robinson Avenue. And I know, just for comments and not questions, but On the first resolution, I assume that the approval of the Retiree Medical Benefit Plan is going to be an improvement for our retirees and their benefits?
This is a update of the old plan, Bob, but it is, and maybe the CFO can explain it better, but as he explained at the work session, at the present rate that we are funding the healthcare,
Correct.
it would be about 2040 before we would fully fund. The state has required all communities to now make a statement on their budgets and on their audited returns as to what they're doing with their health care. And as you know, it's
Squeeze.
pretty low in almost all communities, as it is in Allen Park. But we are meeting our obligations to our employees and to our retirees on an ongoing basis. But one of the ideas that, and I'll just make the own gratuitous comment on my part. So I look and I see two different numbers that says Allen Park would be short, depending on what you calculate.
Would that be the under status clause of the law that's been cited?
Right. But one calculation, we're $80 million that we owe. And on another calculation, which is a more reasonable one, I think the way they did it, because they were looking, I think, at the number of people we had and ages and expected life expectancies, was $40 million, which is still huge.
Right.
Because we've only got about $3 or $4 million actually
I understand that.
set aside besides the payments that we make every year, which are $2 million plus every year.
I understand, and I'm not trying to be disparaging to the council, this government, and our. Actually, I think we've had a great staff here working. My problems with the state, I think that they've continuously underfunded us, and I'm going to continually repeat this: revenue sharing being cut. I'm a public school teacher, and for a long time, sometimes I'm ashamed to say it, because shame on public workers, because we are just sucking off the public teat. But the unfortunate thing is, there are many, many hard workers who are getting less and less and less. And as a result, we're getting fewer people who are interested in becoming workers for our public, to be teachers, to be firemen, to be policemen, to work for DPS, et cetera, et cetera. And this is my commentary part, by the way. And it's happening again and again. We had a council person one time who said, I haven't seen it yet where if you pay somebody more money that they're going to do a better job. Well, that may not be true, but you pay more money, you're going to definitely get better quality workers. You're going to get people who are more qualified to do the types of jobs that we need. And we continue to defund, cut salaries, cut benefits, and I'm sorry. And by the way, I'm a teacher and I have students here. I want to make it clear this is not how I speak in my classroom. I let them know I'm also a citizen, and I speak my mind as a citizen. This is the first time I asked students how many wanted to be teachers. And out of my classes, I had one student who said that he would like to be a teacher at some point. There's a huge teacher shortage coming up. There's going to be a lot of retirements. And at this rate, the way things are right now, I might be one really soon, to be quite honest with you. The state keeps giving local governments, cities, school districts, tools essentially to cut apart the lives of individuals who have dedicated their lives to the public. I'm not saying every teacher is perfect. I'm not saying that every public worker is great, but the same thing is true of any profession. You hear about CEOs who get $400 million a year, and they ask, why do you get $400 million a year? Well, we want to get the best person for the job. Well, okay, that makes sense. I guess I just felt I had to speak to that point. And again, it is nothing that is negative toward the mayor, toward this council, toward this administration. I just wanted to speak that. Thank you.
All right. Charles Lemon, Champaign. It's been a while since I've been here. Working evenings. Working evenings, you can't come here as much. But first off, looking at the resolution number 2, it says construction improvements on Pelham Road, Allen to Wick. From what I'm thinking, it's from like where that Dollar Tree is to Wick would be like by that Coney Island area. Okay, so get that figured out, and then I hope Wayne County in the future looks at the other side of that Dollar Tree area with all the potholes and bumps and all that stuff, as well as I hope that they're looking into Allen Road and Wick, whereby the flower shop is. It's getting terrible over there. It's like, especially I have a little car that could probably, if it gets worse and worse and worse, go into this road, but hopefully it never gets to that far. But that's a couple things that maybe, hopefully, as my representatives can talk to Wayne County and hopefully budget to get into those 2 sections. I'm so glad to see that the government classes still are coming, students are coming in here to learn about government and stuff, and I really hope that the students always come up here, speak their mind. I was one of them way back in the day. When I started when I was in middle school, my brother would take me here as well, and it's always important to speak your mind to your city officials so that if you don't speak up, nothing will get done. And then, as well as, you always gotta respect everyone and try to stay positive every single day. And then for a brighter future, I'm so glad to see the improvements of the new city hall, driving back and forth and seeing it from the outside, and the pictures that Mark Kibbe's been posting. It's good to see some improvements for our city, new businesses, improvements for our public safety and stuff. So you just gotta stay positive and then get the work done, and everything will be all right. I hope everyone, especially the students who are turning 18, that they start to register to vote, because we do have an election coming up, primary in August, and then in November, state election. And so I hope everyone goes out and votes, and I hope everyone has a good day. Stay positive. Thank you.
Any other citizens wish to come forward?
Hi, Ryan Knapp. I actually do not reside in the city of Allen Park, but I'm very much a citizen. I'm very involved here. Like, I go to Allen Park High School. I'm very often walking the streets and driving around in Allen Park. And I'd like to agree with the previous speaker that Allen Road should be an area where it's looked at, like the areas I was talking about by the flower shop and stuff, because those potholes are getting very, very bad for anybody who's driving through that area. And also, I would like to comment that for the road improvement, that we should look at Champaign Road right after Vine leading into Lincoln Park, because there are some very, very bad potholes there that are almost impossible to miss. They're like this wide across. And I personally feel like that should be looked into. I'm not sure that it's Allen Park, but I'm almost positive, because it's still right in front of the apartment building that's right there on Champaign. And I just wanted to comment and say that that should be an area that's looked at for the improvement.
That was on Champaign?
Yes, it's on Champaign.
Yeah, there's a section of that, I think the worst potholes are just inside the Lincoln Park border.
Okay, I was unsure about that, and I just
We'll
wanted
check
to bring that to
I'm
attention.
looking at Matt Doring, he'll check that for us.
Okay.
And we'll make a contact as well for Allen Road. That came up at the study session earlier tonight as well. That's probably one of the worst sections of Allen Road, from Wick to the narrow portion before it gets to residential. And then maybe we can call our friend John Kazoo over at Lincoln Park and see if he can look at Champaign.
Okay, I was
as
just
well.
unsure if that was like Allen Park or Lincoln Park because it's a very like close area there. But I just wanted to make sure that that would be a part that be looked at from either city. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? We're going to move on then to our consent agenda, but before I guess we do that, I need a motion to put claims and accounts before the council.
Motion, Mayor.
Support. Councilman DiGiulio has moved. Councilman Cisco has supported. Councilman DiGiulio?
Hey, just one question here on page 1. For labor attorney for Keller Toma, labor attorney services, $2,648. Can anybody explain what we're paying that $2,648 for?
Which, I'm sorry.
Page 1 under
Page
administration.
1, under administration.
Next page. Keller Toma is the, you know, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm like looking at the check register.
Steve Schwartz and stuff.
Yeah, that's the labor attorney, Steve Schwartz's firm for the fire contract.
Why are we continuing this payments like this?
That contract is still under negotiations. We do have a meeting scheduled with them next,
How long's it been under negotiations?
that contract expired July 1st of 2016.
Do we know how much we've spent on attorney services so far?
I'll have to pull that out for you.
I think Mr. Cady, is he here? Our finance director, do you know how much we have involved in that? I know you do.
To date, and that goes back to October of 17, we've spent about $26,000 in attorney fees for the bargaining with the fire department.
And do we see an end coming to this, or do we just
Oh,
see
God, I hope
continuation?
so. Well, like Mark said, we have a mediation, the state mediators coming in to try to help us, that next week, Mark?
Yeah, Monday for that.
Monday, and then I believe you have to go through 2 mediation sessions, and if there's no movement, then they'll recommend arbitration. So hopefully we will come to some kind of resolution. I hate to go to arbitration. I think nobody wins in those cases, but you know, we'll see where it goes. We are closing the gap on some issues.
Okay, thank you there, Mr. Cady. That's the only question I had tonight, Mayor.
Any other questions by council? Hear none. I'll ask for the vote on claims and accounts. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. The rest of the consent agenda, a motion on the payroll.
Motion.
Support.
Moved by the Mayor Pro Tem and supported by Councilwoman Gavrecki to approve the payroll report, the March 2018 Finance Overview, Budget to Actual Report, Balance Sheet, Cash Flow, and the license and permits for a solicitor, Rodney, Gentzel, Everdry Waterproofing, and they've paid their fee. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. A motion to put before the council the resolution to approve the Retiree Medical Benefit Plan per Public Act 202 of 2017.
Motion.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem
Support.
McLeod, supported by Councilman DiGiulio. Is there any questions by council? There was a discussion during the public comment period, and also we discussed it briefly before the, during the work session tonight. It is a state requirement, and it does deal with other legacy costs that we negotiate with employee groups that may go through to them as they are retire from service with the city. So if there are no questions, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That is carried. And a resolution to approve the intergovernmental agreement between Wayne County and the City of Allen Park for improvements to Pelham Road from Allen Road to Wick Road, Wayne County Work Order 47021.
Motion.
Support.
Motion by Councilman Rourke, supported, I'm sorry, down to my right, Councilman Templin. There's also a $30,174 contribution that the City of Allen Park will make toward those road improvements. Any discussion by council? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are at council's other business. Any councilman wish to make a comment before adjournment tonight? Councilman
I don't
DiGiulio.
mind starting there, Mayor. It was great to really see that student step up here and talk. I think more students should do that. Pretty soon it'll be time for you students to be sitting up here at this table. Won't be too long for that. Anyway, getting on to my question for you, Mr. Boomer. What's going on in front of that jewelry store on Allen Road? They've got it all lined up to pave, and it's just full of water sitting there, and it's been quite a while waiting to be filled in.
I believe you're talking about the former jewelry store, or the jewelry
It's the
store
jewelry store.
that the neighbor has bought the property and
Correct.
is remodeling. He is trying to repave that that property, is in the county right away, and the county is involved. So they are reviewing his plans as we speak.
Okay, so he's paying for that to himself,
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
And they're giving him a problem. Well,
No, yeah, he's trying to put pavement back over. The entire area that he's paving was previously paved.
it was asphalt before, I think,
Right,
wasn't
but
it?
it was hard surfaced. And he's going from hard surface to hard surface, and the county is now involved, so.
So we just have to wait to get that cleared out. Okay, thank you. And getting back to our Police and Fire Civil Service Commissioner, it appears the two commissioners that at one time were both turned down are now both on it. So I think that's really great to see that. I mean, you can keep coming back and kind of like recycling. So I'm glad to see that these two guys are really great, Mr. Tringer and Mr. Dell. And they're there with Mr. Malcolm Beaton. And I think it's good to see this going on in our city. I think we have a fully staffed Police and Fire Civil Service Commission that's staffed by 3 people that deserve to be on there, and they're doing a great job, and I know they're going to do a great job for our police officers and our firemen. Thank you and good night.
Councilman Rourke.
I just want to congratulate the Girl Scout. She had left. I didn't catch her name for collecting, what was her name? Emily, thank you, for collecting the bottle caps and doing that for the benches, and Nancy and her team going down there to drop them off and pick up the benches, so it was pretty nice. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem McLeod.
Yes, first of all, I wanted to say welcome back, Mr. Blevins. We've missed you and your input, and hopefully you'll inspire more students to come up and speak. They deserve to be heard, and we should be listening to them. In keeping with good things that the police department's been doing, I don't know if anybody saw the News Herald from last Sunday. But apparently, there was quite a nice fire at one of our apartment buildings, and the first ones on the scene were our policemen. Thank you very much. I'm sure that the individual you had to go inside the smoking building to extract was very grateful that someone got to him very quickly. And I hope that no one had any residual side effects there. Other than that, please enjoy this nice weather. Don't text and drive. And just all in all, thank you all for being here.
Councilman Cisco, anything tonight?
Promised.
I will withhold my comments from this week.
Okay.
I don't think the kids were coming.
I guess it comes to me then, and I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight, and hope you have a good week, and very shortly, as you heard, we will be moving for, I think this is the 6th time in the history of Allen Park that we'll have had a different place in which to conduct the community's business. I think I've worked in 5 of them. I didn't work in the one between 27 and 50. It was 10 and 50. So anyway, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Support. Councilman Cisco has moved. Councilman DiGiulio has supported. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned at 7:46.
6:46, is that a record?